What role does sleep play with ED?
If someone's getting a good amount of sleep, by that I mean 7 to 9 hours of sleep, they're getting good restorative sleep. That's your deep sleep and your rapid eye movement sleep, your REM sleep. They're probably gonna really facilitate a healthy testosterone level. Now, if you're not sleeping, you're gonna have increased stress. When you have increased stress, you have something called an increased cortisol level. So cortisol is your stress hormone. When you're in that fight or flight situation, that's gonna be increased. And if you're not sleeping enough, your body thinks you're in that fight or flight situation. If you have increased cortisol levels, that's gonna increase your blood glucose levels and your insulin levels, which in turn is gonna decrease your testosterone levels. So all these hormones in the body are all interconnected and kind of work in a synergistic fashion. It's like a big symphony of all the hormones.
The body desires homeostasis, which means balance. And so if our circadian rhythms are in balance, the body is more in balance. So when you think about a circadian rhythm, we want a bell curve with that rhythm, meaning the beginning of the day, the sunlight's coming out, we're waking up, so we're gradually going up from a cortisol perspective. During the day, we have energy, cortisol should be pretty balanced, and we want it coming down at nighttime as the sun sets, so we can have a really good night's sleep, and the body can restore, detoxify at night, and reset for the next day, which therefore, things like ED are not as common in a body that is more balanced internally, from an internal perspective and a hormonal perspective. And the anxiety as well that the body sees inside can be disrupted with a circadian rhythm imbalance. And so when we think about anxiety, a lot of times people, again, will think about mental anxiety, but anxiety, your body doesn't know the difference in running from a bear versus I'm really stressed because I'm like, my rhythm is off. It sees both sources of stress the same. Your autonomic nervous system cannot distinguish between those two stressors. And so a circadian rhythm stressor is a stressor to the body and the body's homeostasis, which then is that domino effect for things like ED to arise more easily.
So I tend to use my screen a lot at night. Does that mess up my rhythm?
When we are using screens, particularly at nighttime, what the body sees is, oh, it's day number 2, and that spike goes back up of the cortisol levels. From a stress hormone perspective, it's not as healthy for those rhythms, as well as from a sleep perspective, which if we're not sleeping, that being a fundamental human need, then the body's rhythms internally can be disrupted and leading to a disruption in our hormonal balance.